Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Before we continue with our discussion with a new set of panelists, let's take a look at the headlines right now. With the bonanza for salaried taxpayers, huge support for vulnerable farmers and informal workers, Finance Minister Piyush Goyal presents Interim Budget 2019, spells out vision to make India a $10 trillion economy in the next decade. Finance Minister announces Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme, 12.56 crore farmers with less than 2 hectares to get 6,000 rupees per year. Direct cash transfers to be done in 3 installments, the first one to be transferred by March 2019. Full tax rebate for taxpayers with income up to 5 lakh rupees. No tax for individuals earning gross income up to 6.5 lakh rupees a year with investments. Standard deduction limit proposed to be raised from 40,000 to 50,000 rupees. Pension scheme announced for the unorganized sector workers with monthly income up to 15,000 rupees. Beneficiaries assured a monthly pension of 3,000 rupees after they retire on reaching the age of 60. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi praises the interim budget, calls it a budget for New India that has something for everybody. Opposition leaders criticize the proposals, claim they say nothing about education or jobs. All right, then we'll continue our discussion on Vision 2030. Sonia, let's introduce our panelists as well. At this point in time, we are joined by Aman Agarwal, Director and Professor, Indian Institute of Finance. Also joining us on the program, Prem Vashisht, Agro-Economist, and Professor Ramesh Chand of Niti Aayog. Thank you to all our guests for joining us on the discussion right now. We're talking about Vision 2030. We covered the first 4 dimensions, of course. Let's talk about the 5th dimension, that is cleaning our rivers and water bodies and also ensuring that we revive and rejuvenate our groundwater and entire water system as well. Professor Chand, I'd like to begin this segment with you. You know, it was a Niti Aayog report a few months ago that spoke about how dire the situation is as far as water is concerned and how it is a resource that we really need to be careful about going forward.
Yeah. You see, in the case of water, we must acknowledge that quantity is one aspect and quality is other aspect. If we have plenty of water, but it is not usable, then that quantity is of no use. I think the vision refers to that we need to have more water, we need to conserve our water, we need to revitalize, revive water bodies, all those things. At the same time, we need to pay equal attention to quality aspect. You know, you might have heard that in India, despite better nutrition, our stunted children, underweight children percent is higher than even country like Bangladesh, Nepal, where food intake is not as good as in case of India. The reason that is identified by experts is that we are not so good in terms of hygiene, in terms of sanitary issue, and particularly in terms of clean water. If clean water is not there, all sort of infection, they go through water and food, then you find that the nutrition goes waste. So I feel that cleaning our river, cleaning our water is not only a religious issue or a cultural issue, it is equally important economic issue, health issue, and environmental issue.
Certainly. So, Mr. Vashisht, you know, several efforts, Sonia, have been made really to try and rejuvenate, try and clean our rivers. You know, several thousand rupees have been spent really to try and get this done. You know, we've seen some positive results, but do you believe that these results are as desired or much more could have been done?
Well, obviously, much more could have been done because see, the worst scenario that you find in India is the sewer water flowing into rivers, and you need to clean that water before it is discharged into rivers. So I would say lot is desired to be done. some progress has been done, no doubt about it. And that too, like, the Ganga plan has received so much attention. But if you look at the other rivers, it's in pretty bad shape. In fact, experts say that these rivers are virtually dying. Some of them are already dead. So, lot has to be done, lot of investment has to be done in, cleaning the water, treating the water before it is discharged into rivers.
जब पानी की बात हो रही है तो हम ओशंस और कोस्ट लाइंस की बात कर लेते हैं, जो कि हमारा नेक्स्ट पॉइंट है. अमन, आपके पास आऊंगी. जानना चाहूंगी कि पेनिनसुला है इंडिया और इसका फ़ायदा अभी तक नहीं उठा पाए हैं. सागरमाला प्रोजेक्ट क्या एक्सपीडाइट होना चाहिए?
ये आपने बिल्कुल ठीक बात करी है कि जो हमारा जो नेटवर्क है, जो सी के थ्रू पैसेज है, वो हम लोग यूज़ नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. इनफैक्ट चाइना इसको यूटिलाइज़ करने के लिए उसने OBR नेटवर्क भी किया है और सरकार ने प्रावधान किए हैं कि हम किस तरीके से इस कनेक्टिविटी को बढ़ाएं, हम अपने डॉकयार्ड्स को इम्प्रूव करें, वो भी किया गया है. और किस तरीके से उसको फ्रेट के लिए एक्सेसिवली यूज़ करें. पहले भी यूज़ होता था बट इतना ज़्यादा अभी भी यूज़ नहीं हो पा रहा है मेरे विचार में. और बजट में जो आप प्रावधान किए हैं, जो इन्वेस्टमेंट्स की बात की है, उससे देखने को मिलता है कि हमें आगे चल के इसमें बढ़ोतरी मिलेगी.
Certainly, and talking about our coastline, Professor Chand, there's a lot of scope. There's, much to be done there as far. So, what is the plan really as far as India's coastline and is concerned?
I feel coastline is important because of two important reasons. One is from trade point of view. If you look at our trade to GDP ratio, it is low, and if we have aspiration to have per capita income closer to what China has or other developed country have, we need to increase our trade to GDP ratio. And that means we need to have more port, we need to have much bigger size of our port, so that inter-country movement of goods happen at a much quicker and at a much lower cost of transshipment.
Certainly.
The second aspect is productive aspect, that blue economy, that our sea and area closer to sea, these fish resources, you just find in some places entire coastal area is invaded by seaweed and other kind of things, and we have overexploitation of our fishery resources. So as a result, you find that catchment is less and less. So I would see that we need to look at our coastal area from these two angles, from trade point of view, and also for making higher contribution to GDP, fishery resources, aquatic resources. In fact, fishery and aquatic itself is a universe.
Yeah, it is.
We believe as if it is only fish.
Yeah.
So within that you will find that different type of seafood, different type of aquatic life, like prawn, shrimp. They are not fresh water, nor they are for the sea water. So they are for the brackish water.
Right.
So for which you require coastal area, not sea.
Yeah.
So we need to use our coastline for those kind of things also. So mainly keeping in focus blue economy, I think we need to develop our coastal area.
And moving on to the seventh dimension.
माइन ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ है, आप कह रहे हैं कि ये सब. लेकिन अगर हम स्पेस प्रोग्राम की बात करें, डॉक्टर प्रेम आपके पास आऊँगी, 2022 तक इंडियन एस्ट्रोनॉट जो है वो स्पेस में पहुँच जाएं और एक लॉन्चिंग पैड जो है सैटेलाइट्स का वो भारत बने. इसके लिए कितनी सशक्तिकरण हमें ज़रूरत है स्पेस सेक्टर में?
देखिए, स्पेस का ओवरऑल परफॉर्मेंस, आई एम सेइंग फ्रॉम जनरल पर्सपेक्टिव पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, our space research organization has done pretty well in terms of performance, but I think the kind of advances that are taking place all over the world, you have to make huge investment and especially train your young scientists. That's very critical, because the earlier group of scientists did a wonderful job, so they have laid the background. Now the young scientists are to be trained in good numbers actually, so that they have a very serious commitment. So R&D is a very critical area where you have to constantly work on, and enough resources, budget allocation would be required for that from futuristic point of view.
Right, and Aman Agarwal, as far as space is concerned, like Dr. Vashish has just pointed out, we've made tremendous inroads as far as space technology is concerned. We are planning to send a man, most probably a woman, in a very short time to space. Now, that is something that we are all looking forward to.
It's not only going to be women, I think maybe many women will be going. The importance is, I think the budget also highlighted that they're wanting to use AI and develop a special segment, and they have started out budgets for the AI. Now, the AI, the artificial intelligence usage in the space was limited to only segregating, getting information or defense information or telecommunications. We are now looking at that as a multiple fold using the blockchain technology to benefit at the end of the day, and we are going to see that happen. So, we are not only looking at space as space stations, which have been the key usage of sending astronauts up and getting certain pictures, but going beyond. So, we are looking at using these hardwares, the robotic technology, the AI technology to help us get information processed, not raw information coming to us, which is a very different thinking as against 10 years back when we were looking at some of these space shuttles and satellites primarily to just send us a piece of information. Now, we are looking at that as processed and getting us hints on what is happening. Now, that will be an enabling technology for our astronauts who go overseas to on board into this space to go and look at this new venue. I think that what is important here is also that there is a boost of large chunk of population in this country which has not been able to utilize its IT spheres, which will get a chance now with this AI boost, specifically in the space domain, which is there. And I think India is doing tremendously well, and the world is eyeing as to what India is looking for tomorrow.
Right, certainly. Moving on to the next dimension now, Sonia, which is food processing.
जी, फूड एक्सपोर्टिंग और ऑर्गेनिक फूड को भारत में आत्मनिर्भर बनाने की बात कही गई है, लेकिन उससे पहले क्या हम विपक्ष के नेता से जान लेते हैं कि वो उनको कैसा लगा अंतरिम बजट। मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे ने कहा है कि अंतरिम बजट में सरकार का घोषणाएं करना सही कदम नहीं है।
सर, आप इस बजट को किस तरीके से देखते हैं?
इस बजट को मैं यही कह सकता हूं कि ये बजट नहीं, ये एक चुनावी घोषणा पत्र है। चुनाव को मद्देनज़र में रखते हुए जो चीज़ें वो बाहर कहने जा रहे थे या अपने इलेक्शन मैनिफेस्टो में बताने जा रहे थे, वो सारी चीज़ें यहाँ सदन में उन्होंने बजट के नाम पर बताया है। अब रिजर्वेशंस व बजट का क्या वास्ता था? ऐसे कई चीज़ें हैं जो अनकनेक्टेड इश्यूज है, उन्होंने इस सदन में लाके कहा। तो मैं यही कहूँगा, एक चुनावी घोषणा पत्र है जो इनको यहाँ कहने का वो अधिकार नहीं है। ये वोट ऑन अकाउंट्स, यानी काम के लिए 3 महीने का काम के लिए या 4 महीने के काम के लिए जितना पैसा चाहिए उसी पे वो लोग इंटीरियम बजट कहे या वोट ऑन अकाउंट कहे, उतना ही वो कहना चाहिए था।
तो ये भी हो सकता है कि जो विपक्ष के मुद्दे थे शायद वो बजट में उनका धारण कर एक तरह से मुद्दे छीन लिए गए हैं, शायद इसी वजह से मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे भी ये बात बोल रहे हैं। लेकिन आपके पास आऊँगी मैं, आप फूड की अगर हम बात करें, पीएम किसान आज इतना बड़ा एक अनाउंसमेंट हुआ, बिग फार्म अनाउंसमेंट हुआ, पैकेज हुआ, तो इसकी बात मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे कर रहे थे।
वो अब बात करने के लिए ऐसा है कि इसके दोनों साइड हैं। अब जैसे चाहे ये इंटीरियम बजट है, लेकिन उसमें विज़न की बात की गई है अगले 10 साल की, तो एक उसको देखने का ये भी नज़रिया है कि हमारा लॉन्ग टर्म इश्यूज़ इतने इम्पॉर्टेंट हैं कि हम उनको नज़रअंदाज नहीं कर सकते। ये एक पॉजिटिव तरीका है। अब दूसरा क्रिटिसिज्म के लिए ये ठीक है कि आप 3 महीने का बजट प्रेजेंट कर रहे हो और उसमें अगले 10 साल की बातें कर रहे हो। तो मैं ये समझता हूँ कि चाहे इंटीरियम बजट हो चाहे फुल बजट हो, जो देश के मेन चैलेंजेस हैं, जो देश की इकॉनमी को ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन करने के मेन गोल्स हैं, इट शुड नॉट लूज साइट ऑफ दोस। सो उन पे ज़रूर फोकस रहना चाहिए।
राइट, सो very quickly, closing comments from all our guests as far as this segment is concerned, and then you continue with the a different set of anchors to talk about agriculture and what the what the agri sector got in this particular budget. On the eighth dimension, that's where we were, Dr. Vashisht, food and ensuring that India is self-sufficient as far as food is concerned, and also exporting to the world.
Good. Joe, the self-sufficiency concept basically refers to the cereals, that we have enough, rice and wheat, enough stock, and we don't have to worry about it. But if you interpret food in a larger sense, the nutrition aspect, we are way behind, both in terms of production and distribution. That's a very critical issue. Now, when you come to production aspect, normally we refer to horticulture products, fruits and vegetables, but there are tremendous problems in there. I wouldn't go into the production as much. My major concern would be that having produced so much horticulture and product, most of it is perishable, how much it really gets marketed from the point of view of the farmer's benefit. That's where we are losing sight.
Right.
I won't say losing sight, but we haven't been able to do enough.
Sure.
And the critical thing is that can you link the farmer to the beyond the immediate market?
Right.
That he has to go beyond that immediate market so that product could be sold. Or the institutional development is also equally important, like farmers producer organization or something like this, so that they can really benefit.
Aman Agarwal,
that's a critical issue.
A comment on the ninth dimension, which is a healthy India.
Yes, I think it's an important, the budget is not only a vision document, but a path-breaking document, specifically from the perspective that there is no constitution restriction and there is no mention of the word interim there. As I said in the morning in the program here, it is going to be a full budget, but with an implementation for a quarter or an implementation in the interim phase. And that's important because the world is looking at it, the India is looking at it, and there is no budget which can be made for a month, 2 months and 3 months, keeping in abeyance every development in the country which is to take place. So it's a myth which is being created that it has to be only for 2 or 3 months or 4 months. It's only a question of implementation, operations when it comes to. So this government has a time for operations. The next government comes in and then they tweak it up as to what. This is showing a very healthy picture. I think it is talking of what we discussed in the morning about rural India, about agriculture and the lower middle segment. You'll be surprised, although I heard you speaking in the previous segment of only 3 crore people getting benefited out of the 5 lakh. You'll be surprised, it's over 55 crore people who will get benefit out of this scheme, because with the investment scheme, you're looking at a tax exemption where people can actually avail up to 10, 11, 12 lakhs by making investment and savings, which is actually covering the lower middle segment, which is about 70 crore people, 50% of them, and plus these couple of others. We're looking at about 55 crore people getting benefited out of this 5 lakh rebate which has been given by the government here, which is a huge chunk, and this is lower middle class. Again, the basic philosophy of the government, which is catering to the backbone of this country, the main survivors of this country, and the growth orientation which this country needs to go into the new segment of the digital frame of India.
Absolutely. All right. Aman Agarwal and the other panelists as well, thank you for joining us on the program. Do stay on. Of course, Kriti Mishra and Kavindra Sachan will take over from Sonia and me. And as far as the 10th dimension is concerned, minimum government, maximum governance, that is something that we all know about, and the government has stressed this right from day one when it came to power in 2014. So we're not going to stress on that. From Sonia and me, that's it for now. We'll join you later on, but do stay tuned. Our continuous coverage will continue on the other side.